So, hello everyone. It's a good afternoon and good evening. Dear authors and invited guests, I'm Pratna Joshi from India, the moderator of this session. This is our session 10B on behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 6th World Conference on Smart Trends in System Security and Sustainability through Zoom. I hope you all will enjoy the knowledgeful and interactive sessions in this session. There is a special note for all the presenters that you all will be given uh, 10 to 15 minutes for your presentation and for the 3 minutes for your question and answer. On 10 minutes, I will raise one reminder gently to conclude your presentation. And there is also one request to all the participants that please all stay connected till the closing remarks. So we will have one snapshot for the good memory and glimpse of this session. And just before we get started, I would like to introduce you all to the chair of the session, Professor Vijay Singh Ji Rathore. Welcome, sir. And Professor Nilesh Modi. Welcome, sir. It is our pleasure to have Professor Vijay Singh Ji Rathore and Professor Nilesh Modi with us in this session. Now, I would like to start this session with our first presenter. So I would like to invite our first presenter to present his paper on computer security and audits as a measure to protect our information. Hendrik Michael.
Yeah.
Will you please start the presentation?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Enrique Gutierrez. I represent the University San Juan Bautista de Chorrillos here, that is located here in Peru. Well, and the topic that I want to share with you, that is a research. It's called computer security and audits as a measure to protect our information. It is related to with everything. Security in different companies, maybe well, different companies, small, since small and to the biggest company worldwide. Well, give me a couple of seconds. Please, I just want to. Well, thank you very much. So sorry for this inconvenience. Well, you know, as we know the ransomware data access, and also we know the attacks of ransomware, for example. You know, it has become essential to drastically change a company to become intelligent against attacks that cause serious damage depending on the electronic equipment that they have. You know, when we say that depending on the electronic equipment, it could be a switch, it could be a firewall, computers and everything related, who can be damaged with something virus. Like I said, with computer viruses, computer security attackers produce damage that generates the necessary knowledge, collect information about accesses to data and sensitivity information handled by people who works or who interact with this information in this company or business. Maybe it can be an important person, for example, or singers, actors, things like that. Well, in this case, for example, to carry out this research, we three steps were taken. First, the theoretical framework or literature, which was the collection of all the relevant information for our research. We collect all this information, global information. We read, for example, papers, similar papers newspapers too, and other researchers from similar professionals and many others. And the first step is physical security. Physical security, according to our line 21, it tells us that the physical security consists in placing physical barriers and control procedures as a measure to prevent and counteract possible threats to reserves and confidential information. Like I said before, for example, in this case, many of different attackers, hackers, like you want to say, attacks the infrastructure of the company. For example, it can be the switches, the computers, the firewalls, and everything related with that. For example, in my case, I worked for Pratip. That is a business who develops casino softwares, and we receive attacks constantly. For example, doxing, spyware, and many other viruses. Doxing for employees from this company, for example, to collect information of him to use it against to this company. This is types of attacks. As indicated in various studies, fire can be caused by an improper use of oil fuel, fires in electrical installations, or any improper storage or transfers of flammable substances. About sabotage shows that most feared danger in the areas of data processing is sabotage. Well, this is a type of different attacks. For example, I recently read about a group of hackers attacked to Pakistan nuclear silo. I guess I don't remember the name, but it happens in Europe, I guess. Well, this is a cybercrime in Peru. Well, this is our national legislation. We collect the number of laws, the law on the protection of personal data, for example, remained since 2011, and the same or similar the law regulating of the use of unsolicited commercial and email and things like that. For example, we have one of the most important, Supreme Decree, which approves the definition of digital security at the national level, dated since 2018. Well, that's only laws, and that protects us, protect the user, protect the business, protect every person in this country. For example, well, this is the computer crime statistics in Peru, and this is all the list. The different attacks, for example, the most common here in Peru is the phishing. The phishing with through message, the phishing through web pages, message too, and emails, and maybe with a call too, because they can collect some other information about doxing, for example, about the person. We need, for example, illicit access, data interpretation, computer fraud, and all of this, for example. And we have layers too. In one case, is increased the attacks, in other case has decreased. But every day we have different kind of attacks in different places with different people and with different ways. Well, what about our results? Proposal of the correct procedure to carry out computers audits. Well, that's one of the way. Another way is to avoid, for example, to educate the employee, because an special hacker, a black hat hacker, for example, they think very different. These people think in the employees, because it is a critical breach from a company, from a business, or different, or a person, for example. this is a security breach because this person doesn't have too many knowledge about audit, about the procedures, about this system information. So in that cases, we proposed to carry out computers audits to investigate what is the employees doing in the computers, or what they are downloading or uploading, if they are using a USB, for example, and things like that. Well, this section develops our proposal of what will the steps when performing an audit. Well, we're going to determine the nature of the audit. Internal security audit, for example, covers the level of internal security of the corporation. A perimeter security audit, when I say perimeter, the level of security that is in the exterior entrance of the company is analyzed, and also with our infrastructure. For example, we need to install 2 or 3, for example, firewalls, virtualized, for example, the main and the backup, in everything related also with electronic security, for example, CCTV cameras, fire alarm, and things like that. Intrusion test, it is a methodology that consists of trying to violate company systems to verify the level of resistance of the systems to attacks. Well, set the scope. How much is going to be reviewed and how long? Plan resources, how much budgeted amount of personal equipment needed. In this case, for example, we also talked and negotiated with subcontractors. We need to be, people need to be careful with this kind of methods. Determining the methodology. It is determined under which standards the audit will be carried out. For example, COVID, ISO, and different kinds of ISO, for example. Data collection. All information taken from the test to be carried according to the nature of the standard defined will be collected. Well, that was our reference. We collect all information and investigated from this reference. And well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's it.
Yeah, Michael, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It was a very nice presentation, and congratulations to you. Such a good presentation. It was very nice work indeed. So, can you explain the perimeter security again, once again? Perimeter security.
Yeah, well, I understand about the perimeter security in different cases. For example, perimeter security can be I don't know how I can say in English, when you put your digital finger in
biometric.
Yeah, biometric. For example, that we need to take care with this. We need to put in different VLAN, for example, in switch, and also with firewalls. For example, we need to virtualize firewalls to avoid that attackers needs to investigate about the resources and the names of the servers, because that is sensitive information about I don't know, about the firewall switches, and everything, including the link service of our internet, for example, and also with hiring our good employees who works with integrity in this areas, for example, in IT areas, I guess.
Okay, fine, very nice.
Thank you. Another question.
Professor Modi, if you want to ask something.
Yeah, Mr. Michael. Actually, there are some international standards for making security compliance and audit. Do you know anything related to it?
So sorry, I couldn't understand that.
Yeah, actually, there are some security standards, international security standards, cyber security standards. Okay. And
Okay.
that
Do you want to? Sorry.
there are some security standards, and they are being applied at the time of auditing the security procedure. So, can you
Yes.
please elaborate how exactly you are using those standards in audit mechanism?
Sure. For example, our standard. Well, if we are going an audit, we need to the business needs to apply for a standards of security. For example, I don't remember the name of this standard, but
Do you know about ISO 27001?
yeah, ISO 27001, I guess, and similar. So for before apply to these standards, we need to have we need to put in order our installations. We need to standard our cable, our computers, and everything related to our infrastructure, because we need to pass this ISO. After that, this company or subcontractor give us
Okay, fine. Okay, that's fine.
standard.
That's fine. That's it from my side.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite our next presenter to present his paper on Arabic head speech identification by enriching Marbot model with hybrid features. The paper presenter is Hassam. You may please start your presentation.
Yes, hello everyone. I'd like to check that. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I will start sharing my presentation. And is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, wherever you are. My name is Hussam Zayadi. I am PhD student at Military Technical College, Department of Computer Engineering and Artificial Intelligence. I am from Egypt, but I am on short visit in USA to University of Idaho to do some research experiment. It's my pleasure to present our paper titled Arabic Head Speech Identification by Enriching Marbot Model with Hybrid Feature. I'll start my talk with by introduction. After that, I will present our motivation and research question. Then I will briefly explain our proposed approach and experimental result. Finally, I'll talk about conclusion and future work. So social networking sites are online platforms that allow users to interact with others through posting text and sharing their review, and also can share their opinion and thoughts. This graph shows that there is a rise in the social media users in the Middle East country. And with this increasing number of social media users, some users of this platform may prefer to hide their identity. So it may make like a risk, or it may raise the risk of misuse. And also the latest statistics show that there is a significant increase recently on all type of online hate speech, as we see on the left. And also generally there is increase in hate speech on the social media platform, as we see on the right side. So we can define hate speech as any kind of socially unacceptable language. This language is targeted toward a group of people with intent to cause harm or violence or social chaos. How to reduce online hate speech is our motivation for creating an online environment that is safe for all online users. Also, due to the importance of these topics, some countries have issued laws to ban hate speech on social network platform, like Germany. So our research question is how to effectively identify hate speech of new posting written in the Arabic language, given a set of hate and non-hate posts. We focus on Arabic language, as the Arabic language is the official language of the most countries in the Middle East. It has 28 letters, and each letters can be written in different shape depending on the location of that letter in the word. And the Arabic language has three main form. The first is classical Arabic, and the second is modern Arabic, modern standard Arabic, and the third one is dialectical Arabic. And we also focus on in our research on Arabic language, as there is a limitation in this area, and there has been minimal work done in the Arabic hate speech detection. This is the complete architecture of our proposed method to detect Arabic hate speech. Our proposed methods consist of two main steps. The first steps aim to provide Arabic hate speech with personality features, and the second steps aim to combine this feature with the static word embedding and contextualize the embedding. And I will explain each of these steps in the next slides. Before we start implementing our proposed model, we completed some important data processing steps. Our pre-processing steps include eliminating all punctuation mark and removing stop word, ignoring non-Arabic numbers, removing links and removing empty lines, normalizing Arabic letters such as alif and ya, and finally removing diacritics. After we finished our pre-processing steps, we start in steps number 1 in our proposed model. In these steps, we used ARA personality datasets, which is published on Kaggle. We built 5 models using the ARA BERT model for each personality trait. Then we passed our Arabic hate speech dataset to extract the personality features from the datasets. At this end of these steps, we had modified Arabic hate speech provided by a personality feature. And in the second step, we used a Mara-BERT model as it's one of the most popular pre-trained model. It was trained on 1 billion Arabic tweets. So we combined 3 vectors: static word embedding with contextualized vector and the personality features vector. And for classification, we add a fully connected and softmax layer. Our proposed model, which enhanced with personality traits, features, and the static word embedding, achieves the highest performance score of 86.4, outperforming all deep learning models in the compared approach. So we think this improvement is due to the combination strategy, which improves the quality of the final representation by including extra features. So our conclusion and future work, we proposed a method to enhance contextualized language model by adding word embedding and the personality traits features for Arabic hate speech recognition. And the value of using static and representation of dynamic language models is shown in our proposed methodology. And in the future work, we think that we can improve our model by using multitask learning. Also, we will focus on recognizing other type of harmful information, such as video or audio that can contain hate speech. And thank you. And any question?
Yeah, it was really a very nice presentation. I don't have any. I don't have any questions as such. But Professor Modi, if you want to ask anything, please welcome.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, Hosam.
Yes.
Actually,
Hello.
there are some sort of machine learning and some sort of, we can say, machine learning is the main important thing. Okay. So how exactly you are being managing all these things using big data, because social media is a vast area and wherein no such database is available, wherein individual text and other things are being recognized and they are being translated. And there might be possibility that at a specific time, people are not using the exact word. They are using some sort of relevant words. Okay. So at that particular time, how you will consider that this is relevant to some sort of hate speech or relevant things?
Yes, okay. The data sets which provide in our proposed model is published on competition name OSACT4. It has labeled by 3 innovators. So we didn't collect it. It has published on OSACT competition. So this is.
Are you using specific algorithm, or you are developing your own algorithm for finalizing?
We used a pre-trained model RBERT, but we combined we add to this model's extra features like personality features, and we combined static word embedding with contextualized word embedding. So we enrich this model with our own features.
But what sort of features you have added?
Personality features of the persons. We have 5 personality features with the person. We add these features to the data sets to enhance the performance of model to detect hate speech detection.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now we are moving forward with our next presenter. I would like to invite our next presenter, Pratip Puma, to present his paper on user experience analysis in obstacle clearance tasks in virtual and mixed reality environments.
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. Am I audible? Is everything fine with my audio? All right. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Is everything okay with my screen? Are you all able to view my presentation? Okay, my name is Pratip. I'm an assistant professor of computer science at Elon University. I'm here on behalf of my team to present our paper titled User Experience Analysis and Obstacle Clearance Tasks in Virtual and Mixed Reality Environment. So firstly, our entire research is centered on the topic of obstacle clearance. Obstacle clearance is all about studying how participants walk and clear obstacles, and this is part of an intervention that's used in the field of physical therapy to understand what are the possible fall risks that could happen when we walk and clear obstacles. This is kind of a challenging problem with older adults, so this is an actively researched topic in the field of physical therapy. And in fact, there are, as I mentioned, it's an active field. There are several projects in multiple dimensions addressing this. So when thinking about obstacle clearance task, one of the thoughts that came to our mind is what are some novel ways in which we can study this obstacle clearance task. So that's when we brought in the dimension of immersive technologies into picture, such as VR, MR, and AR. So how can we incorporate these immersive technologies into this obstacle clearance task and understand this behavior? So that's our starting point. And then from there, we moved on to the state-of-the-art analysis, where in VR and MR technologies and how they are being applied towards the physical therapy interventions. So it's a known fact that VR and MR technologies are widely used in several research areas, starting from education, healthcare, entertainment, rehabilitation, and so on. Specifically for physical therapy assessment, there are multiple VR applications being used in projects. Even there were several projects in terms of obstacle clearance tasks. But at the end of our state-of-the-art analysis, what we found was there were limited research activities in two aspects. The first one was the lower body tracking in mixed reality. So as I mentioned, like, the obstacle clearance task involves the participants walking and then clearing over the obstacle. So here is where we track their, like, the foot clearance and so on. So the multiple trackers would be kept on their the legs to track it. So pretty much taking this context, like lower body tracking applications were less in mixed reality technology. And secondly, the comparative analysis between VR and MR in same experiment, that was also like, kind of less. So that's the part where we wanted to focus and conduct a comparative analysis between VR and MR in the obstacle clearance task. So which brought us to our research aim. So here is where we use these two technologies like VR and MR, and specifically we wanted to understand two aspects from the study. One is user experience, which is what the user thinks and feel about this experience in MR and VR. And the second one is understanding their level of comfort in using these applications. Because not all of us can feel comfortable with immersive technologies, because there are certain induced effects that are associated with these technologies, like, sickness, nausea, disorientation. So all these aspects are like, kind of tied with immersive technology. So we wanted to further investigate like what could happen in the context of obstacle clearance, like what would be the level of comfort and user experience. With that in mind, we framed our research question as follows, which is, are there any differences between UX, that is user experience, and virtual reality induced symptoms and effects in obstacle clearance tasks in these two technologies? So that was our starting point. And before I move any further, I just wanted to show you all the reality virtuality continuum and explain where these two technologies like the virtual reality and mixed reality fall under. So just a minute, I have to open up my pen. So we have this spectrum where towards the left side is the real environment, that's the physical world we are present in, and towards the right end is our virtual environment. So that's when you wear the head-mounted display and then experience the virtual content. So in this case, the world view is completely obstructed, but we see whatever the head-mounted display kind of renders. And in between these two extremities, we have the mixed reality. That's kind of a hybrid technology where we combine the elements from the physical world and then the digital world together. So it's basically superimposing all this digital contents on top of the physical world. So in our experiment, we use these two aspects. So one is MR and another one is the VR. Okay. Now, for the development process, we used a Unity game engine to develop these two applications. So we developed a separate application for mixed reality and another application for VR, but both of them, they are obstacle clearance, and we kept the standards to be same. I mean, the tasks that the users will be doing in these two experiments will be same on these two of these applications. So in Unity game engine, for the MR part, we used MRTK, or the mixed reality toolkit for the development process. And we created a mixed reality application and deployed it on Microsoft HoloLens 2. Whereas on the VR side, we use the Oculus Quest SDK to create the VR application and then put it on Oculus Quest device. So this is our application on MR. So the users, when they wear the MR headset, so this is Microsoft HoloLens 2. It's a see-through lens where the users will be able to see the physical world and then all these digital elements being superimposed on the physical world. So typically in our application, what the user would see is a holographic wall. This is the wall, like. So we place the wall like 4 meters in front of the users from their starting point, and this 4 meters distance is for them to walk and clear the obstacle, and also for them to like, the decision making, like which leg should they use to clear this particular wall. And in our application, we also incorporated this UI, where using this UI, we'll be able to control like the position and orientation of the wall. The reason why we added this UI is because depending upon our physical environments, the digital objects can react to physics. So it can have some strange physics if we are having an irregular kind of environment. So the wall might be disoriented. So in order to align the wall and then make sure that it's straight, we added this control tool. And in addition to this, the users will also, will also be able to set different heights of the walls. I'm going to talk about the heights on next slide. But typically, using this application, we'll be able to set holographic walls of different heights and have the users see that wall, walk towards it, and then cross over it. And then on the VR side, we created an application. So this was deployed in Oculus Quest. This is exactly what they would see on Oculus Quest, where there's going to be a walkway that leads to a gazebo, and then there's going to be a wall in front of them. It's just similar to MR, but the way they experience these two contents, they are kind of different. So they walk and then they cross the wall. So this is exactly what our users would see. For the experiment setup, we recruited 12 participants with a mean age of 23, and then the standard deviation to be 3. Even though our long-term goal is to bring in older adults into the study, this is kind of a flashlight or sort of an initial study. So we wanted to start this study with healthy young adults. So that's why we went with this population. Of course, for our future, we'll be bringing in older adults for both of these use cases. So that was our participant pool, 12 participants. And the task that we gave them was to walk and cross these obstacle heights, like 3 obstacle heights in both MR and VR conditions. And the 3 heights which we gave them was 12-inch wall, 6-inch wall, and 15-inch wall. Each of these height, they correspond to the real world height. So for example, the 2-inch wall, it corresponds to the doorstep that we would see. And then the 6-inch wall corresponds to the stair threshold that we would cross over. And then the 15-inch wall that corresponds to the first step in the bus, like when we onboard the bus. So typically what happens in this case is that first the user wears a VR headset, and we randomize these heights for each participant in the experiment. So they will be getting these heights in the random order. So first they wear the VR headset, and then they walk towards obstacle, and then they cross it, and then they would come back. Specifically for the VR condition, we had the research moderator to accompany the participant because of the safety factors. So when they are in VR, they just see the environment, so they won't be able to see anything in the physical world. So that's why we had this for safety reason. But this is for the MR condition. It's a see-through lens, so they can actually see what's going around. And on top of it, there's going to be the wall for them to walk and cross. So first they would work with a particular headset, and once they complete it, they move on to the next condition, which is the MR. Okay. And as far as data collection is concerned, we used the post-test questionnaire, which is the virtual reality neuroscience questionnaire. And the specific reason that we use this questionnaire is to support our research question that I framed a couple of slides ago. So in my research question, I talked about the 2 factors, which are the UX and then the comfort. So what I'm referring to comfort is the virtual reality induced symptoms and effects. Specifically, this questionnaire, it consists of 4 aspects, but we removed the 2 aspects, which are the game mechanics and in-game assistance, because we did not have any game elements or game mechanics going around in our application. So the main focus was on user experience and then the RISE. And then to process the data and then to analyze the results, we use the Wilcoxon signed rank test. So I'm going to talk about the questions and then the results from the study. So these are the 2 components that we use, the user experience and then the virtual reality induced symptoms. So we had 4 questions under user experience, and you can see those questions were centered on the level of immersion, the level of enjoyment, the quality of graphics, the quality of the technology as a whole. In fact, it was not 4, we had 5 questions. We removed the 5th question, which was more centered on the audio. We did not have anything related to audio, so we had to remove the 5th question. And the virtual reality induced symptoms are related to the common effects like nausea, disorientation, dizziness, fatigue, and instability. So here are the results, the box plots of the user experience factors from our study. So we have these 4 elements of UX. And then VRISE. So we found that we observed a statistically significant results in the level of immersion and level of enjoyment between VR and MR. So which means the level of immersion and enjoyment in VR was significantly higher than what we could see in MR. And quality of graphics and quality of technology, they came out to be non-significant. This is due to the fact we just had only 1 task for the users to do. We did not have much variations. We kept it in purpose because we did not want to distract the users with multiple visual aesthetics and have them focused on the obstacle clearance task. Okay. So the red dot here indicates the average, and then the black line here indicates the median values of this. And each question, it was a 7-point scale, 1 to 7. For the UX, We had 1 being low and then 7 being high. And for VR ISE, it was inverted, where 1 being high and then 7 being low. So for example, if you ask them a question, did you experience nausea? And then if they hit 7, then it's low. So in summary, from the stats, the users felt that the MR was a little bit challenging because of the limited field of view. So anything below the waist level, like any object that you're going to put below the waist level, the users have, like, it would not show up. They literally have to look down and focus in order to see that. That was one of the major challenges which users faced in terms of MR. And as far as the VR ISE factors are concerned, the users felt MR to be a little bit comfortable compared to VR. This is because of the hybrid nature of MR. That brings me to the conclusion of this presentation, which is we use these two technologies, the Oculus Quest and Microsoft HoloLens, to investigate these factors. If I have to summarize our entire findings in one statement, it's this: the hybrid nature of MR offered more comfort than VR, but VR felt more immersive than MR in specifically the obstacle clearance tasks that we used. So as I mentioned earlier, for our future work, we'll be involving the older adults with the same study setup. In summary, we combined the research aspects from two cross-disciplinary fields. One is from the physical therapy, another one from the human-computer interaction, to address a real-world problem of obstacle clearance task. So that's the end of my presentation. At this point, I'd like to thank the WS4 conference for giving us this opportunity to present our research in this conference venue. Thank you. I'm now open to your questions.
Mr. Pratip.
Yes, sir.
It was really very nice work. I think you carried out, and very nice, practical work you've carried out. So congratulations to you for that. And there was in your questionnaire, there was a question about the disorientation. So what do you mean by disorientation, and what was the experience of the user about that?
Good question. So typically what we meant in terms of disorientation is when the users, they wear the headset and then they remove it, there's going to be this effect where they are transitioning from the digital world to the real world. So that could cause, like, a little bit of discomfort for them. They might have a jarring effect, like when they immediately remove the headset and then come back to the real world, or when they transition from the real world to the digital world. Like there could be this moment where they feel that comfort because they got to accommodate towards that world. Like it's kind of both extremities, right? They're going from the real world all the way to digital world and then coming back. So that's what, like, we meant as disorientation. And in fact, there was a little bit of disorientation that the users felt when they used VR specifically, because they were having those headsets and then they were walking. So once they removed it, like, oh, it's a little bit of jarring, and then they came back. But it was not as disrupting as how it would be in complex applications that would involve interactions. Maybe the nature of our application was more simplified towards one task.
So you showed your results, but have you compared the results with some existing outcomes also, like similar experiments?
Actually, we haven't done that because this is kind of more initial and flashlight study. We definitely have that as a thought process for the upcoming results. And also, we were unable to find, like, there's one research that combines these two, VR and MR, specifically for obstacle clearance. So there are independent researches, like, independent research for obstacle clearance in VR, and then independent research for obstacle clearance in MR. So we did not find that one thing that has these two aspects together working on with these factors. But definitely, this is one of our considerations for the future, to investigate and compare our results with the existing ones.
Like sometimes what happens, whatever we are doing, we feel it's good. But when we observe the work of other researchers, then we come to know that there are some limitations in our work, and we can just improve that.
Yeah,
so if you study other works also, similar works, not exact, but similar works will also give you some ideas. Otherwise, the work is very nice. Good.
Yeah, that is true, sir. So we had that as a consideration for our VR and then for MR sites, but reproducing them with the same study setup was one of the challenges, because every study setup, it differs. Like specifically in physical therapy, the way we capture the body data, it varies from, like, one setup to another setup. So we use the motion capture system and then these two headsets. So hopefully, like, in our upcoming aspects, like, we'll be getting into that direction, and then see, like, in another summary, like, taking this initial research and understanding what are some basic parameters. So now that we know some aspects are involved, like, we could, like, fine tune it in our upcoming aspects.
Yeah, my best wishes to you and your team and your research.
Thank you, sir.
As well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Dr. Pradip, really is such a nice work, and it will definitely helpful to the society at a large. I just want to convey congratulations to you and to your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments and feedback and valuable suggestions that you gave us. I'm going to communicate this to our team, and I'd also like to thank you on behalf of our team.
So indeed a good work. Let's clap for that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so now we are moving forward to the next presentation. I would like to invite Jagdeep Singh to present his paper on impact assessment of ICT practices on supply chain management performance in automotive industry in India. I think Jagdeep Singh is not here in our session. So now we are moving further with the next presentation. I would like to call Ashia to present her paper on efficient SAPLI explanation of support vector regression of agile and non-agile software of effort estimation.
Hi, everyone. Do you listen to me?
Yeah, Askia, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Askia Najm. I'm from University Hassan Chou Faculty of Science in Morocco. My research title is the efficient SAPLI explanation of support vector regression for agile and non-agile software effort estimation. My presentation is divided into 5 sections. First, introduction. Second, interpretability methods. Third, empirical design. Fourth, result and discussion. And finally, the conclusion. Software estimation is a crucial element for project success because it helps the project manager to efficiently estimate the needed effort for any projects. So there exist in literature many machine learning models like simple vector regression, decision trees, artificial neural network, etc. But these models have attracted much criticism related not only to the accuracy but also to the interpretability as well. The interpretability is defined as the ability to determine cause and effect from machine learning models, and it has many advantages. The first one is enabling managers and practitioners to trust the implemented model. And second, understanding how model perform prediction is beneficial in enhancing their accuracy. We use our previously developed method, which is an enhanced model using SVR and Optinet algorithm, which is where we use the Optinet is the optimal artificial immune network algorithm that is used for tuning the parameter of the SVR model. This model is performing better than all the SVR models used in the comparison. It has PRED 25% equal to 100 and PRED 8% equal to 71.42. The interpretability techniques that are divided into 2 main groups: the model specific, which and the model agnostic. Model specific, the specific models interpretation can be used just for particular types of models, and model agnostic, they are generals and can be used for any model. Also, interpretability technique can be divided into 2 main groups, which are global and local methods. Global methods achieve global understanding of entire behavior of a model, while local methods achieve a local understanding of special instances. Concerning our empirical design, we use 2 data sets. The first one is called ZIA data sets, and it's used for agile projects. It contains 21 agile projects and 2 features. The second one is Albrecht data set that is used for non-agile projects. It contains 24 software projects and 7 features. We use the shapely values explanations and exactly shape package that is used for local and global interpretations. The atomic unit of shape is computing shapely values. Shapely values are based on the following logic. We, for each attribute of an instance, we perform a set of model evaluations using all possible combinations of features with and without attributes A. We use it for global interpretability methods. The first one is the shape feature importance, where the attributes having large shapely values are more important than those with lower shapely values. Concerning the dependent plot, it has this is a plot where in the x-axis there is the feature values, and in the y-axis their corresponding shapely values. The shape interaction plot, it is also another global interpretability techniques that computes the interaction effects through an additional sum of individual feature effects, while a summary plot, it contains in its x-axis the shapely values, and in its y-axis the features where they are arranged according to their importance. We used the two local interpretability methods, which are the waterfall and shape force plots. They are both local interpretation techniques showing each attribute's effects on the output of a particular observation using colored blue and red arrays. We use the two validation methods for agile projects. We use the leave one out cross validation, which is where we exclude one project for test as test projects, while the other remains as training sets. For non-agile projects, we use a 30% hold down method, where 70% of data sets is used for learning, while the 30% is used for testing. These are the results concerning the ZIA data sets, and exactly the first plot is showing the feature importance. We see that story point is the most important features, followed by velocity. Concerning the summary plots, a low velocity values decreased the estimated agile effort, while a high number of story points increased the effort needed for agile projects. Concerning the dependency plots, an increase of story points value increased the predicted effort, contrary to what is depicted in the velocity dependent in the velocity plot, where a high number of velocity decreased the estimated effort. Concerning the interaction plot, and exactly in cases near to 0.3 story points, the occurrence of velocity doesn't affect greatly the predicted effort probability, whether the velocity is high, medium, or low. Concerning the Albrecht data sets, this plot shows the feature importance. We see that output inquiry and HFP are the most important feature. Concerning the summary plot, the low values of output inquiry, HFP, and drop function points counts reduced the estimated non-agile effort, while a large value of these features increased the estimated effort. For input features, the summary plot shows that the increase in the input value is associated with a lower effort estimate. This is a shape-dependent plot. According to the output plots, which is in the left, an increase in output value increases the predicted effort, similar to what is depicted using inquiry feature. This plot is showing the shape interaction plot in general. An increase in output increases the estimated effort, confirming that output feature remain important and have a significant impact on the estimated effort rather than the inquiry. Concerning local interpretation for agile projects, the first plot is the shape force plot, and the second is the waterfall plot, we see that story points have a significant impact on increasing the estimated effort. We choose an instance, a special instance where the its estimated value is higher than the average value, and we explain this difference using shapely values. According to the second waterfall plot, we see that story points contribute with 46.41 and velocity just with 5.76. The sum of these contribution yields the difference between the estimated effort and the average effort. For non-agile projects, we see that the most contributed, we choose a special instance where the estimated value is 2.7, which is far from the average value of estimation, which is equal to 23.75. The explanation shows that the outputs and file and inquiry are the most important features toward decreasing the estimated efforts, and the sum of all these contributions explain the difference between the estimated and the average of the estimation. So the shapely values interpretation methods have the potential to explain the reasons behind the observed difference between the estimation of the instance to be interpreted and the average of estimation. The result of this study, is of great importance in explaining the prediction producing using our complex model, which is SBR optimized using our optimal artificial neural network on both local and global levels. And concerning our future work, we intend to improve the quality of the produced explanation by using other global and local interpretability techniques and also other data sets. For example, surrogate models and LIME technique can effectively boost estimation accuracy. And thank you for your attention.
Hi, Asia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So you told that you are going to improve the quality of the work. So how you are going to improve it? Like, what are the limitations so far that you want to improve them?
Sorry. How can I?
In the last slide, you mentioned that you are going to improve the quality. So how you are going to improve the quality now?
We improve exactly the generalization ability by introducing because the quality of this interpretation. We intend to increase the quality of interpretation by using another interpretability methods. Because by using other interpretability methods, we can confirm or deny the results we have achieved by through this study.
And you can also find out the limitations of your work by comparing these results with the existing researchers. So that's how also you can improve your work, because if you come to know about your limitations, then only you'll be able to improve. We suggest you to compare your outcomes with the existing researchers, so that you can get the limitations and then you can improve them.
Okay.
Our best wishes to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Professor Modi.
Yeah. Asha, actually, you used both agile and non-agile software estimation method. Okay. So how can you compare agile and non-agile method for software effort estimation?
How can I compare agile and non-agile?
Because both the methods are totally different. Okay. So how can you produce efficient result?
Now the method, I use the same methodology, the same framework for the same methods for interpretability that can be used. They are global, and can be used either for agile and for non-agile projects. and they are called model agnostic interpretation model.
You might have found some major comparison. Okay, whenever you have suggested some sort of procedure, so both the methods are different. So there might be some sort of complexity you might have received. Can you please elaborate?
I didn't get your question.
So actually the thing is that whenever you have applied, am I audible?
Yes, I listen.
Yeah, so whenever you have applied both agile as well as a non-agile methodology, okay, for effort estimation, so you might have received some sort of diversified results. So how can you compare both the things?
They are two separate things. These are two separate things. So agile is just a type of how we process a project, and non-agile project. So this is just kind of projects. We have two data sets. The first one contains just agile projects with its main features, and the second one is contain non-agile projects. So they are two separate data sets, and we apply the interpretability method, which are general and can be applied for agile and for non-agile projects. So we just our work just is used just for improving the trust for software managers. If they work in agile software development effort, or just for working with non-agile projects. So it helps practitioners to trust complex model using machine learning methods, because complex model are even they produce high accurate results, but they suffer from limited use due to their complexity.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we are moving forward to the next presentation. I would like to invite Marion to present her paper on text classification and customer review data set using support vector machine.
Thank you. I'm trying to load my screen right now.
Dear presenter, can you please start sharing the screen?
Yes, I'm trying to share my screen to load my presentation and then share my screen. Please, just 1 minute.
All right.
1 minute. Yes. Okay, so my Zoom. Okay. Then share screen. Share screen. Can you see my screen? Can you view my screen now, please?
No, the screen is not visible yet.
Okay. Can you view my screen now, please?
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Can see my screen now.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm presenting text classification on customer review data set using support vector machine. The outline as follows. Introduction. Classification is the problem of identifying populations in new observations belongs on the basis of the training set of data. Containing observations for all instances whose categories membership is known in the email classification disease diagnosis. The text classification tags are text and sentences classifications techniques are very important components in the field of natural language and processing, and they have been modeled for numerous applications domain, such as document classification, sentiment analysis, product labeling, and information retrieval, and so on. Support vector machine constructs a hyperplane or set of hyperplane in a high or infinite dimensional space, which can be used for classification, regressions, or other tasks like outliers, detections, and prediction, and so on, according to Platt et al. 2017. This work makes use of a support vector machine for text classifications that have been done in literature. Year 2012, work on document classification using support vector. Text classification using support vector machine. Sean et al. 2015, using C-LSTM neural network for text classification, and so many others. Not to waste our time. The goal, the main problem we are trying to solve in this work, the statement of the problem. The problem of incorrect product classification is a major issue in the e-commerce domain, according to Maron et al. 2020. This is because vendors often require merchants to input their product information and select categories manually, which give room for numerous merchants to select different categories for the same product. This problem is a text classification task. It has been observed that machine learning algorithms such as naive Bayes, logistics regressions need improvement in terms of its misclassifications. In this work, support vector machines was employed and implemented for text-based product classifier on customer review to solve the existing problem. The aim and objective, the aim of this study is to use support vector machine for text classification on e-commerce environment. And the specific objective is to identify important feature for text classification that will be an input to the proposed model. The second objective is to design the model for text classification using support vector machine algorithm. And the model was implemented using MATLAB. The fourth objective is to compare the performance of the model implemented in terms of accuracy, precision, F-score, recall, specificity, and sensitivity. The methodology engaged for objective 1 is an extensive literature review in order to identify the important features, into the model that we're proposing. Then the second objective, support vector matching was used as to design the model. And the third objective is to implement the model that was designed, and MATLAB was engaged, and the data set from Amazon customer review was used. And the last step is to evaluate the performance of the model, and the following performance metrics were used: accuracy, specificity, sensitivity, F-score, recall, and so on. The methodology continue, as earlier said, the data set was that was used was gotten from Amazon data set that contained about 3,772 customer review with 16 attributes, and it was grouped into 70 and 30% holdout for training and testing respectively. The workflow as shown on the diagram on the screen, and the pseudocode is shown on the screen. We determine the various training and test data, the output that was expected, to select the performance metrics, select the optimal hyperplane for the support vector machine. Why condition is not met, we implement the SVM training steps for each data point, and we implement the SM classification for the testing data. And the loop, once it is the appropriate accuracy is not gotten, the iterations continue. The flow diagram or the support vector machine model is as shown on the screen. The evaluation metrics that was used for the evaluations is as captured. The formulas is as captured as on the screen as follows. The confusion matrix was used to generate our results. and in which we are able to calculate the accuracy, the specificity, the sensitivity, the F-score, and so on. Based on the performance metrics used, we obtained the following results. Sensitivity, we got 93.3 and 92.3. For specificity, we have 76.19. For precision, we have 8.78. For accuracy, we have 86.67. And for F-score, we have 0.9. Comparing the result of our model with existing techniques and work that are being used in literature. We have this Dwidi and Akia 2016. They make use of K nearest neighbor techniques, and they obtain 76.0. The second author, Tisangarotos and Eli 2016, also make use of logistic regression techniques, and they obtain 86.2. And a top 2017 make use of a character level convolutionary networks as the technique, and they obtain 77.8. Rajan and Prasad 2018 use a BP Lion neural network, and they obtain 70.0. Puton and Surajito 2020 used naive Bayes plus World 2 VEC, and they obtain 62.30. Shaya et al. 2020 also make use of multivariate binomial naive Bayes, and they obtain 70.96. Our proposed model, which we use a support vector machine, we obtain 86.67. In conclusion, in this study, support vector machine on a pre-processed data set was implemented using MATLAB. The result of this work showed that support vector machine show improved performance in terms of accuracy over existing model. Thank you for listening. Hello.
No question from my side. No question from my side.
Okay. Thank you. Any question from the audience? If there are no questions, I want to appreciate the organizer of this conference for this opportunity to make this presentation.
My question is about deep learning algorithm. Why you should support vector machine? Why you the state of art now in artificial intelligence is the deep learning? Why you didn't use like deep learning like recurrent neural network or the pre-trained model like BERT model? This is my question.
Oh, thank you. Yes, from the literature and from the literatures, there are several machine learning techniques that are being used, and the performance is as not that so SVM show it little bit improvement in terms of noise regressions, k-nearest and neighbor, and so on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The moderator can take over. Thank you.
Yeah, no questions from my side. Pratima, we can continue.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, everyone. I sincerely thank our authors for their great contribution and excellent presentation in this session, and all the participants for being part of this international conference as well. I hope this session was informative enough to the all. On behalf of the whole team, I sincerely thank you for your support during this version of the conference, even in the previous 5th version of the conference, and we will be happy to have you in the 7th version in 2023 of this World Conference. There is another thing, all the participants would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days, and papers have already been forwarded to the Springer. Publication will be live within 5 to 6 months, so kindly cooperate with the team WS4 2022. And now I would like to thank our session chair. Just a minute, let me share the screen. Professor Vijay Singh Rathod for chairing the session, and also I would like to thank Professor Nilesh Modi for chairing the session and for their valuable time and presence here. And here is a token of appreciation for your valuable time and presence with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for the recognition. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just wanted to add up and convey my thanks to Professor Modi and Dr. Vijay Singh Rathod for chairing this session. It has been extremely helpful for us in listening to our talks and then giving feedback and asking those insightful questions to us. So to all the authors who participated, thank you. I really enjoyed the session.
Thank you, organizers.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
For inviting us, for inviting me as a session chair. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, sir. Now I kindly request to all the participants, please turn on your camera for a quick snapshot and a good memory of the session. I again request if all the participants can turn on their camera, then the session will be memorable. Fine, last 10 seconds. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe, take care, goodbye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.